Welcome to World Outreach Week for the 2025 school year. This year, our theme is Creativity and Missions, Any Major, Anywhere. My name is Allie Waldrop, and I am a Journalistic and Media Arts student. And today I'm joined by Corban professor, Dr. Annette Harrison. So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your specific roles at Corban?
So thank you very much for having me. I think one of my specific roles is getting to interact with you guys, thinking about missions. So I'm the intercultural studies professor, and intercultural studies is our code word for missions, basically. So all the easy places have been taken where you could enter to countries and put missionary on the visa application. Mm-hmm. And so if we have intercultural studies on your diploma, it makes you a little bit less threatening to your host government. And so I teach intercultural studies courses. I direct the program. I direct a TESOL program. So you guys might not know this, but you can go overseas and make a lot of money actually teaching English. Mm-hmm. You just need to have the right certification. So we do that. And I'm part of the intercultural ed program also. So what else do? I do anything that my boss asks me to do. There we go. Shout out to Dr. Yates. Yeah.
So how did something like World Outreach Week get started?
Back in the day, when Corban was much more Bible college and less liberal arts college, the men who were pastors and church planters would return from their assignments and speak for a week. And that was World Outreach Week. It was lots of sermons. And then there were a couple professors before me that tried to do different things with World Outreach Week and bring different organizations here on campus to give you guys like a taste of what it might be like. And then when Dr. Johnson left, so Dr. Paul Johnson was my predecessor, and I'm not an event coordinator. All of a sudden people were like, well, what are we doing for World Outreach Week? And I thought, I do not have any idea, but it's been a learning process. I've really enjoyed it. And that's how we got to where we are now, that I organize World Outreach Week every year. I basically do it on a volunteer basis because it takes a lot more hours than you could pay me for. Yeah.
Well, I think you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Sure. Why do you want students to get involved at World Outreach Week?
I think without students, there isn't much World Outreach Week. I try to find speakers who will challenge students, who will maybe show you things that you didn't realize existed, or places or people that you didn't know about. But without students asking questions and being involved and talking to the mobilizers, those are the representatives that come, there's not much use for World Outreach Week.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about those mobilizers and what students will have the opportunity to listen to this year?
Oh, okay. I'm very excited about this year, not just the theme, because this is actually a really cool theme. And you guys have done such an amazing job with the art so far. And I love the idea of this podcast. It's really great. So you're doing a lot of firsts. Like, this is the first time I think we've done this. So the theme this year is about media. And so I wanted to tell you how by accident I got hooked up with this organization, because the organization that's going to be represented is Sat7, which is the largest Christian satellite broadcaster in the Middle East. So once upon a time, there was this hapless Operation Mobilization guy who got kicked out of Egypt, and he was trying to figure out, what could I do to still touch people's hearts in places I can't get to. And he thought of, let's do radio broadcasts. Let's do cassette, back in the day, cassette tapes. We'll send cassette tapes in. And his organization has grown, I think, by the grace of God, into this amazing, dynamic, technologically savvy, very creative organization. It's grown and spread. And I heard about them just by accident, because Dr. Gilbert had some books that were supposed to be his extra books sent from a publisher, and the publisher sent the wrong books.
Oh, wow.
And they sent the biography of the man who started Sat7. And Dr. Gilbert brought this a box of 50 books, and he's like, can you do something with these? And I thought, okay, so I read one. I gave one to Dr. Yannicki. I gave one to a bunch of different people and read it, and it was a really fascinating read. And I thought, we need to get these people on campus. And yeah, just long story short, we made different connections, and I was able to talk with the North American representative for SAT-7. And so it'll be very interesting. We're still in the planning stages, but I think we're going to have people from the Middle East like zooming in during chapel.
Oh, wow.
To be able to talk to us live. That's my hope. If it doesn't work live, we'll at least have good recordings because they are a media technology company. Yeah.
Wow. So it is my understanding that World Outreach Week is to help students get connected in ways to serve cross-culturally. So what are some of the benefits of serving cross-culturally?
I think it makes the world a different place for you. We talk about the Corban bubble sometimes, and even though I think your generation has probably had a lot of experiences, maybe through media, you've seen a lot of things, and actually you've traveled a lot of really interesting places, you still may not realize what's going on in the church, and you might not realize what's going on with how the gospel is spreading throughout the world. And that's what I want students to see. I'd like you to see what God is doing in the world. And it's kind of mind-blowing. It makes you shift paradigms, thinking about what you think might really be important in your life. And I don't think everybody is going to go and be a missionary, but I think everybody can somehow be involved in missions. Yeah.
And so why would you encourage students to get excited about this year's theme, which is creativity in missions?
Well, for one, because being creative. I think creativity is a fantastic gift that God gives us. Some people have more than others, I will say. But everybody can be creative, and everybody can figure out how to use the talents that God gave them to do something really important. Everybody has exactly the right talents to fit together, kind of like your mosaic, actually, back here. If you're a piece of green paper, you shouldn't try to be a piece of purple paper. That's not the way it works. You're a green piece of paper, you need to be the lovely green in that spot. Yeah. I want you guys to hear different voices. I want you to get excited about what God is doing, because there really are some amazing things going on in the world.
What if a student feels like this week isn't applicable to them?
That's a great question. So I have a story I need to tell you. This took place back in like the 1940s and 50s in Zaire, which is now the Democratic Republic of Congo, so big country in the middle of Africa. And a woman and her husband were there as missionaries, and her husband, had the main missionary role. And she was just kind of learning how to use photography, early days with a camera. And at the time, King Leopold II of Belgium basically owned Zaire. It was his personal property. And he was interested in rubber. He wanted all the rubber that he could get. And so he basically turned the country into a big slave plantation. And everybody had a quota that they had to fill. And if they could not fill their quota, something would get cut off, like a hand or a foot or an ear or something. And it's atrocious. I mean, I don't know how you can do something like that. But this was Alice Seeley Harris, and she saw what was going on. So she started taking photographs. And she has a couple famous photographs of like a pile of hands and feet that were cut off. Another one of a child sitting next to the severed limbs of his parents. And she had an opportunity to come back to the United States with her husband, and she showed those photos all around. She went to England and showed the photos, and she kept saying, here, you guys, you have to see what is going on. Look, I have this basically photographic evidence. I think everybody can be a storyteller. Everybody has something to show or to tell or to